but we are working on Spellbook. So we're going to be speaking in English today. 今日は英語で喋りますから、ちょっとすみません。So we are working on Spellbook, which is a book of spells that teach you that over the course of the journey, you are a wizard who's gathering a spell book, and in doing so, the player learns how to remember how to write the kanji, Japanese characters, right? So book one is called Mushrooms and Mermaids, or Mushrooms with Mermaids. That might be a bit suggestive. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what age group this book is aimed at, right? I think high schoolers. Anyway, like young adult fiction, but is that age group appropriate to make a magic mushrooms joke? I don't know. Probably not. I'm going to say no. So right now we're learning the spell component, daggers, which, is one in Japanese, but like as a part of characters. So this book is themed around two, like these two lines called daggers. So two is made up of two daggers, daggers, meaning two. And as a spell, two will have the effect of bifurcate. Right? You awake from a dream having learned bifurcate. So in chapter one, you're like saved from this shipwreck by a mysterious marine animal, and there's two ways the story can go. And that's up to the player. We learn our first spell, and now I think we're going to cast our first spell. But just to go over, the 20-minute mark. We have a bunch of components of the characters. Some are made up of characters themselves, but like, for example, Spring is there, Meadow has spring inside it, right? Or I'm going to call these sparks. So Ray has sparks in it, like as a story component. It will help you remember imagistically, right? The characters, when you just can barely remember it, you're like, wait, what was that again? Oh, let me try to remember the story I made about that. So I'm writing a bunch of like dreams that help you remember, but then the player writes their own. So I dreamed they were dual-wielding daggers, and they split me in two. I had this vivid dream as a wizard, and so if somehow I forget how to write two, it will help out. Or here's a staff, and then here's the dual wielding. I dreamed that to make a staff to wield, I need to dry the wood first. So there's the mnemonic device, and then the player writes their own, because it's better to remember something you made yourself. So yeah, so we're going to be learning the next component. So we finished. We're working. There's about 350 components. 380 components, and we're inspired by Heisig, who wrote a bunch of his own to make this story game about a wizard. So I like, for example, in this volume 1, Bloom appears. So when this, the shared component of these three, this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stroke piece appears in these, we can remember a big part of the story that we appear in, right? So, and we have our list of about 2,500 characters here that we'll be working in. over the course of this massive book. So each volume will have about 100 characters. Is the goal. So, and it's also going to help me learn to write because I'm really not that good, because they're all those very random separate things. Okay, so we have a blank page, and I hate blank pages. So let's dual wielding. What are we learning? We're going to be learning this spell, juggle. So I'm inspired to make a scene where the characters somehow need to juggle. Or something about something spinning in the air. Dreamed. So this kind of reminds me of devil sticks. You know what devil sticks are, right? Devil sticks. It's like, they look like this. Right. It's a type of juggling. Anyway. So dual wielding. What is the interesting scene that will make the character make you choose something? And maybe it will depend on a spell you cast as you are walking. So we just made it to land. Are we going to flash forward? Maybe. What is the choice you're going to make? You are awakened by the keen of crows coalescing above you. But more importantly, there is the keen sensation of hunger. The keen sensation of that you can feel to your, you can feel in your ears, perhaps. But still, it's still. We spell keen sound. Of crows coalescing above the canopy. You can feel it in your ears. You hunt for food, maybe? Hunt for food. And in your attempts past, bifurcate. Hunt for food. As you hunt for food, as you hunt for food, you hunt. And as you do, you cast the first spell. brought it into reality. And so you feel, I think the choice is how you're going to feel about it. Feel shocked, or you feel unfazed, and even you feel numb. This was not supposed to happen. Name what you killed in your humbling attempts at satiation. You are numb. This is going to be blue. Second to last. You are numb. Name what you kill in your fumbling attempts, at satiation. But is altogether inhuman and unnerving about in the manner in which it died. Give you refrain from eating the creature, and despite from eating, despite despite your weakness, the weakness that you can feel singing in your knees and in your jaw, to form a funeral perform last rites of a sword. Where did you learn these? And why is performing them now? What's the opposite of sacrosanct? Opposite of sacrosanct. Here and now, profane. Here and like this, profane. Make a promise to yourself about the consumption of food. Or make a promise to yourself about the proper form of violence. Learn the secret. Meaning way to weird. The way to wield. Then this is the more happy version. You are unfazed and even proud. No. What manner? In what clever way does your magic make its mark? Add a new belonging to your new belonging. Kill. Fresh kill. I know. Take a new belonging. Fresh kill. You continue like this. as you make your way through Fencebriar. Continue through Densebriar. You come upon a can that indicates the way north. Word civilization about the grove. You find it in lets you know there were people here. There was conflict here recently. And the secret. Matter. There was a duel here. There was a duel of travelers. Here was, it seemed there was a dual set of travelers here recently. What gifts? What gifts left in this grove? It seems there was a dual set. What did you yield? Here's let's do dual type of problems. It's dual reality. You hunt. And as you do so, you cast your first spell. And you get to juggle. Yeah, it's kind of intense. I'm not sure where the joy is. I don't know how you do this, but yeah, I mean, it's there. Harsh. Cool. I think that's good for today. Thank you so much for joining. We're gonna have this playtest version of chapter 1 done quite soon. So thank you. Goodbye.